Subscribe for more.
I didn't expect my marriage to end with a text message sent at 11:30 at night, but that's exactly how it happened. My wife, Marissa, and I had been married for 12 years. Not perfect, not terrible, just steady. We lived in a quiet suburb outside Denver, shared routines, responsibilities, and a life that looked fine from the outside. That night my phone buzzed, and her name lit up the screen. The message was casual, almost cheerful. "I'm in Vegas for a week." No explanation. No warning. No context. I stared at the words longer than I should have. I knew immediately what she meant, even though she didn't say it. Vegas wasn't her thing. Crowds, noise, gambling, none of it appealed to her. She hated flying, hated spontaneity, hated being away from home. The only reason she would be there for a week was if someone else had planned it. I didn't feel shocked. That part was already behind me. What I felt was confirmation, like the final piece clicking into place. All the late nights, the sudden privacy, the distance she called stress finally had a location, a city, a hotel room, and a man who wasn't me. I thought about arguing, about asking questions I already knew the answers to, about reminding her of our vows, our history, the years I showed up when things got hard. But I didn't do any of that. I sat on the edge of our bed, phone in my hand, listening to the house hum quietly around me. The silence felt familiar. It had been growing for years. I realized this text wasn't a betrayal in isolation. It was just the first time she stopped pretending. So I typed back 6 words that surprised even me. "Have fun with him." I hit send and placed the phone face down. Marissa didn't reply. I didn't expect her to. That night, I slept better than I had in months. No racing thoughts, no tight chest, no rehearsed conversations in my head. Just a calm I hadn't felt since before I started shrinking myself to keep her comfortable. The next morning I woke early, made coffee, and sat at the kitchen table. Her mug was still in the dishwasher. Her jacket still hung by the door. It all looked the same, but something fundamental had shifted. I wasn't confused anymore. Confusion had kept me stuck. Clarity felt lighter. We hadn't always been like this. When we met, Marissa was warm, attentive, full of plans. I was drawn to her confidence. I worked as a project manager, steady hours, steady income. She said she liked that I was reliable. For a long time, that was enough. Then her attention changed direction. She stopped asking about my day. She guarded her phone like it held state secrets. Intimacy became conditional, then occasional, then absent. When I brought it up, she told me I was overthinking, that marriage wasn't supposed to feel exciting forever. I tried to adapt. I took on more chores, planned trips she canceled, listened without interrupting. I told myself this was what commitment looked like. Endurance. But endurance without reciprocity erodes something important. I started to feel like a supporting character in my own life. The more I gave, the less visible I became. Still, I stayed. I believed loyalty meant outlasting discomfort. I believed love meant patience. What I didn't realize was that patience without respect becomes self-neglect. Vegas forced the truth into the open, not because she cheated, but because she stopped caring whether I knew. That distinction mattered. It means the marriage had ended long before the text. I was just the last one to accept it. Over the next few days, I didn't spiral. I didn't post online or call friends to vent. I focused on practical steps. I scheduled a consultation with a lawyer. I reviewed our accounts. We had kept things mostly separate, a decision that suddenly felt wise. Marissa finally texted 3 days later. "We need to talk when I get back." I replied, "There's nothing left to clarify." She called. I let it go to voicemail. The message was defensive, irritated, confused by my lack of reaction. She said I was being dramatic, that Vegas didn't mean what I thought. I didn't return the call. I had already accepted what she couldn't say directly. I wasn't angry. I was done explaining myself to someone who stopped listening. When she came home, the house felt smaller. She looked surprised to see boxes stacked neatly in the garage. I told her I'd moved my things to the guest room temporarily. She asked if I was really throwing everything away over a misunderstanding. I told her I wasn't throwing anything away. I was reclaiming my dignity. She laughed, called me cold, said I was punishing her. I didn't argue. I just repeated that we should handle things through lawyers from here on out. The weeks that followed were quieter than I expected. Friends eventually found out. Some tried to convince me to fight for the marriage. Others admitted they saw this coming. What surprised me most was how quickly my energy returned. I slept better. I worked out again. I stopped feeling like I needed permission to exist in my own home. The absence of tension revealed how heavy it had been. I wasn't grieving her. I was grieving the version of myself I abandoned trying to keep her. Marissa never admitted to anything directly. She didn't have to. Her actions said enough. Vegas was never about a trip. It was about choosing an exit without having to say goodbye properly. I don't hate her for it. I just don't carry her choices anymore. Marriage ended not with shouting or betrayal scenes, but with indifference. And indifference is something you don't argue with. You acknowledge it, learn from it, and walk away intact. Sometimes I reread that text and think about how close I was to begging for reassurance. How easy it would have been to pretend again. Instead, I chose self-respect. That choice didn't make me bitter. It made me free. I didn't lose my wife in Vegas. I found my clarity at home.